Okay, quick resource recommendations before we get started. The Christian's History of Music. The Christian's History of Music by Dr. Peter S. Ruckman. This is a phenomenal resource. Talks about the history of Christian music and the influence of this Africanized beat that's worked its way into churches. This right here, Where in the Universe Are We? By Professor Philip Stott, is, if not the best resource, it's tied for the best resource that I know about for geocentricity. I've got a lot of geocentricity resources, up to 43 now, 43 different resources. But if I was to hand somebody one resource, I would let them borrow this DVD right here. Robert Sungenis has a lot of good stuff too, but he's Catholic. And you guys know how I feel about Catholics. This little pamphlet right here is just a pamphlet. The Yoo-Hoo Yahweh Scam is by Dr. Peter Ruckman. It's the Bible Believers Bulletin. And I give this to people when they start saying that Yoo-Hoo Yahweh Yeshua crap. Well, I shouldn't say crap, but I tell you what, man, if a name's not in the King James Bible, I ain't going with it. You guys can say it all you want to. Go ahead. I'm just, it does not ring true with me. I'm going with King James Bible. Okay, anyway, this book right here, Catholicism Against Itself, Volume 1 by O.C. Lambert. It's got a Volume 2 out there as well, but this is a real good resource that discusses the hypocrisy and the just the problems with Catholicism. And I think we're going to have to be more and more well-armed against Catholicism as things move forward. Okay. Hey, I want to start off with a Bible verse, and it's Hebrews 10:25. It kind of sums up what this video is going to be about, and I need to start my egg timer too. All right. Hebrews 10:25 has a word for all of us. Not forsaking the assembling of ourselves together, as the manner of some is, but exhorting one another, and so much the more as ye see the day approaching. So the Bible is telling us in Hebrews 10:25 to not forsake the assembling together, ourselves together. Okay, that we should be exhorting one another, and we should be meeting a live human, and that's my wife and I. It's not something I'm proud of. I would love to find a good, solid local church and just attend that for years upon years upon years. And what I'm about to say is kind of like an admission of guilt, right? But my wife and I have been church hoppers. So I'll probably title this video Ravings of a Church Hopper. We've been church hopping for over 3 years, and every Sunday we go to church. I don't think we've missed maybe one Sunday in the past 3 years. We always go to some church, right? But this is my notes from all the different churches that I can remember. I just want to quickly go through them. It's going to look like I'm criticizing them, and I'm not. I'm just like sharing my experience and my perceptions. But keep in mind, I'm a scum. I really am. I'm a very wicked person who's been saved by the grace of Jesus Christ. And I'm not going to criticize these people. These people run churches, right? The pastor gets up and prepares a sermon every Sunday. Some of them do it Sunday morning and Sunday night, plus they have a Bible study on Wednesday. And I'm not responsible for that sort of responsibility, right? Shepherding a group of people. So I have a huge amount of respect for these churches, but at the same time, I'm going to openly share with you some of my impressions as I've been church hopping. My wife and I go around to different churches. And, I would say, I would love to be a member of like Dr. Peter Ruckman's church. If I lived in Pensacola, Florida, man, I would be a part of Dr. Peter Ruckman's church. I mean, I listen to an hour of him practically every day, every single day, man. Imagine listening to a 1-hour sermon from Dr. Peter Ruckman every single day, because that's what I do. And I mean, he's so dang honest. I mean, I may not agree with everything he says, but the man is just raw, honest, never tries to put on airs, he's a warrior of God, knows that Bible. I mean, he's a black belt super ninja with that word of God. Now, I may not agree with everything that he says, but I got to say that he believes it, right? I know he's not trying to put one over on me. I know he's not trying to, I know he's not a faker, right? And that's what I respect about him, is his honesty, you know, and his integrity. The man's got integrity off the charts. But I would say, you know, he would probably be my first choice. I got a whole lot of respect, off the charts respect, for Pastor James David Manning. I would say he's probably the most courageous preacher in all of America. And then if Dr. Ken Hovind ever gets out of jail, I kind of look forward to, you know, if he's going to pastor a church. And I found a real good pastor, Pastor Eric Philpott. I just uploaded a video of Pastor Eric Philpott, and you know, he's wow, this guy, I don't know, I think God is moving in wonderful ways. I love, he's kind of far, it's like an hour drive for me, but I love going to his church. So he'll be my new pastor for the indefinite future. Let me also share something about my YouTube channel while I'm thinking about it. You guys know that my YouTube channel's not been in good standing for a long time. I've had a copyright strike. It started off because I spoke out against homosexuality, and YouTube didn't like that, and I got a copyright strike for that. But I got a copyright strike for a video too. It's the Liberty Valance, the man who shot Liberty Valance. I uploaded a little scene from that, and I tried to make a point about it. And it's over 2 years old. It's in May of 2011. And I sent a message to the YouTube copyright folks, and I said, hey, it's been over 2 years, you know, why can't I put my account back in good standing? And I feel like I'm dealing with some kind of foreigner robot high school guy or something. I don't know what the deal is, but he just said, the only way to get rid of the strike is to wait 6 months. I'm like, I've been waiting over 2 years, you know? So YouTube is definitely keeping my account in bad standing, and no matter how I try to address it, I can never get past it. And they don't make it very easy to deal with, and I think, you know, I'm just low on the totem pole. What can I say? You know, and I also uploaded a video about Terry Lakin's book, and some scumbag, faggot homosexual, like, complained about me uploading a video to Amazon because Terry had mentioned me in his book, and they got my video taken down on that too. So I am suppressed. You know, I'm not trying to whine about it, but they keep my channel in bad standing. If my video ever goes anywhere that seems to get any little bit of attention, they immediately take it down. But if I ever get the chance, see, you know, the danger is if I ever get the chance to influence a lot of people, the first thing I'm going to say is that King James Bible is the Word of God, and right after that, right after the fact I talk about the gospel of Jesus Christ, I'm going to say Obama's birth certificate is a forgery. Right? That's the second thing I'm going to say, you know. But anyway, let me share with you guys some experiences on my churches. I kind of ran out of time. Okay, I went to one church, and first of all, a lot of these churches have the American flag with that gold fringe. And I don't know if you guys remember a video that the Texas deacon did, but he ain't too keen on the American flag having that gold fringe. And he actually didn't say the Pledge of Allegiance. When everybody else stood up and said the Pledge of Allegiance, Tommy sat down. And then after it was all over, he stood up and said, you know, you guys shouldn't be saying the Pledge of Allegiance to a flag with the gold fringe. So, but almost all these churches I go to have that gold fringe, man. I don't know what to do about it. You know, it's like, it's bad for me to walk into a church and the first thing I do is start complaining about the flag, you know, but I guess I should. I don't know. But anyway, I went to one church and they had the American flag, and it was lower. It was on the stadium, or not the stadium, but the place where the preacher stands. And then they had every single flag of every nation in the whole United States higher than the American flag. And I was just thinking, where else would you see something like that, man? It's like, it just kind of saddened me a little bit. I wanted the American flag to be higher than all the other flags. I wouldn't even have the other flags in the church if it was me. I left one church because, you know, I don't think my 9/11 views, I got into a conversation with someone about 9/11, and I said, man, you know, I really got into a conflict, and I didn't feel comfortable anymore. You know, when you say the truth about 9/11, you just create all kinds of problems, you know. But hey, I'm going to say the truth no matter what, even if it causes me to lose my church. Finding a church that's King James is always a challenge, and that's what I love about Pastor Eric Philpott. He is a King James man. He really is. He has a passion for the King James Bible, and that's a real challenge. Finding a King James church in today's world I've noticed, been a real challenge. Almost all of them, except that New American Standard crap and that New International crap, and you know, they'll accept anything. Well, there was one church I went to that had the Good News Bible in all the pews. And the Good News English thing is like, It's like, you know, the 5th grade Dr. Seuss level Bible or something. I wouldn't even call it a Bible. So finding the King James Church nowadays, very difficult, very difficult. There was one church we went to, and the women, man, they wore these halter tops, man. It's like, you know, hey, some of you guys might like that. It's like, hey, well, when's that church open up? But it's like the women are running around, and it's like, hey, if you like women running around in halter tops, you know, they, yeah, that's what I think Ann Barnhart referred to them as super fun rock band churches, and she really nailed it. We got a lot of super fun rock band churches going on nowadays, and I just ain't into it, man. I'm kind of a Southern Baptist, and that Christian music, I think there's an African element that's permeated throughout our churches, and they're doing this super fun rock band thing. And I like the old Baptist hymns, right? On Christ the solid rock I stand, all other ground is sinking sand. And we just sing a few Baptist hymns, man. I love old Baptist hymns, but I ain't into this super fun rock band with the drummer and the guitar player and the preacher's playing the guitar. But anyway, let's keep going. I'm running out of time. There was one church I went to, they really pushed tithing really hard, and you know, I just ain't going to go to a church where a preacher thinks I owe him 10% of everything that I first of all, if the Lord told me to stab my son in the heart on an altar, first of all, my son's bigger than me, so I'd have a hard time doing that. But I'm just saying, I hope that I would have the faith of Abraham when God told Abraham to sacrifice his son. So everything I have belongs to the Lord. But if the preacher's going to get up and preach a tithing message and say that we're biblically obligated to give 10%, I just ain't into it, man. It's like, it's not biblical, and I've educated myself to the point where it has to be given from the charity of the heart. And there's several books on that as well biblical resources. There was one church I went to, it's multicultural, and the guy started talking about Trayvon Martin and how Trayvon Martin got the shaft, and it's like, you know, that's okay. I mean, it didn't cause me to leave the church, but it's like, you just run into all kinds, right? I went to a Messianic Jewish church, and they were dancing around that Torah, and they were holding up the Torah and kissing it and passing it around. And I think they spend more time dancing and kissing the Torah than they do studying it, right? And the King James Bible says to study the Word of God. I think it's the only version that actually says the word study. The other versions have taken that word out. I'm running out of time again. Almost everybody nowadays uses the Yeshua Yahweh thing, man. I just ain't going with it. I'm not going with the Yeshua Yahweh thing. If y'all want to do it, go for it. And they do the African dance. I saw a 65-year-old woman up on stage playing the thing and dancing and wiggling, and you know, and it's like, hey, if that's what they want to do, that's great. But like I said, I'm an old Southern Baptist boy, and you know, I don't even know if I'm a Baptist. I would just call me a King James Bible believer. But I just think that's an African element that's permeated into our churches, and I'm just not going to go for it. There was one guy, when he gives an altar call, because all the churches give an altar call, which is a good thing. People need to give their life to Jesus Christ. But when he did the altar call, he would really put a lot of pressure on everybody, and he would start snapping. He would start snapping his fingers like Slick Willie. I mean, a lot of these guys come off like Slick Willie's car salesmen, and you know. But hey, they're doing more than me, right? I don't run a church. I don't prepare a lesson every Sunday. So keep in mind, all this criticism is coming from an absolute scumbag like me, who don't do anything when it comes to running a church. I'm just giving you like my impression, right? Because you might want to use it for whatever it's worth, right? I went to a cowboy church. That was kind of interesting. They talked about resting in the Lord. They did not use the King James Bible. They did a lot of singing. It seemed like a social club kind of. I really wanted more of the meat of the Word of God. I go to seminary school, and the professor will get a phone call from his daughter, and he'll literally stay on the phone for about 10 minutes and make the whole class wait while he's talking to his daughter about, you know, she's telling him to bring home some bread once he gets through with class. I just don't see any respect for the Word of God, and for, you know, you should be teaching and training bold men and women of God, right? And then, you know, some of these preachers mention the Shekinah glory, and if you're not familiar with the Shekinah glory, YouTube search Pastor Mike Hoggard, Shekinah glory, Lone Star 1776 to find out Shekinah glory is not in the Bible. Anyway, that's my little ravings of a church hopper for the past 3 years. I really like Pastor Eric Philpott, and I hope to stay with him for a long, long time. I've got another church that I go to on Sunday morning. I go to Eric Philpott on Sunday evening. I've ran out of time. May God bless and protect the righteous. May He bring divine justice to the wicked.